welcome to Doors and Corners, a sci-fi and fantasy film commentary podcast. I'm Brian.
And I'm Zach. And every Friday we sit down and watch a science fiction or fantasy film and give our 2 cents on its quality, production, story, and trivia.
We watch the film together, but without sounds or visuals provided to avoid copyright issues. But if you do have access, we encourage you to join us and follow along.
Here, we like to keep things casual, and there may be discussions of spoilers or sensitive materials or language. But we do try and keep things clean and family-friendly. Ultimately, the goal of this podcast is to create the experience of us all sitting down and watching this movie together.
So get ready to hit that play button, because we're about to get started.
Damn doors and corners, I mean, that's where they get you.
Welcome back to Doors and Corners. I'm Brian.
I'm Zach.
And back again, I'm Patrick.
Hopefully
That
for
is
the full
Patrick.
episode this time.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah,
And
that's
you
fair.
sound fantastic.
I'll own that.
You do sound good. Yeah, no,
Good.
yeah. Tonight we got Pat, and we got a special movie tonight. This is like a one-off that is one of the most special one-offs in the genre, in my opinion. The Fifth Element.
Very much agree. Like, holy crap.
What's
Pat, how do you feel about the
yeah, I'm about to say, Pat, what's your history on this movie?
Oh, I love well, there's a reason I'm here. It's not just to see you guys because it's a Friday, or actually it's a Sunday right now. But no, Fifth Element. That's I've got precious little time, and so I got to pick and choose the podcasts I show up for, and I showed up for this one. So yeah, it's always kind of been, and you'll notice this year I like certain things, and one thing I like is kind of the culty classic movies. Not the kind of the mains, because this movie that feels like a culty movie to me.
Very much so.
And I love that. I love kind of the campiness of it. That's funny.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think this is almost the definition of the cult classic. I feel like the majority of people our age are like, oh my god, yes, The Fifth Element. How could you not have grown up with this movie? My wife had never seen it. And
Really?
I showed it to her, and she was just like, okay.
Wow.
She didn't hate it. She was like, all right, I see why you like it. She's indifferent.
Yeah.
good.
This
Fine.
was I showed this
Thanks for showing it to me.
Funny.
when I showed this to my kids about 2 years ago for the first time. It was a mixed reaction. My son enjoyed it. My daughters were both like, it's fun. Like, they could see why it was enjoyable, but they didn't quite. It's a very 90s sci-fi movie, and I love that about it. But it's
It is.
yeah. This is Pat, did you see this in theaters? Because this was 97 or 98, right? One of those 2 years.
No,
97.
I don't know that I did.
It wasn't a huge hit in America. It was a much bigger hit internationally. I did see this in theaters, though. I remember, I didn't really. This was a movie back in the day where you would go because of the star, and I was a huge Bruce Willis fan. I went to see, Bruce Willis is doing a sci-fi movie. I'm there. I ended up being like, that was awesome.
Yeah?
Right.
This is the best thing to come out of France since, like, the croissant.
Yeah, French
I-
cinema.
you mean the
is an
beret?
odd thing.
Ugh. Thanks. They're useless and floppy.
It's bad
Um,
headwear, especially for special forces, because it offers you nothing except uncomfortableness. It does look good, though. I will say that it looks good in a uniform, but very impractical.
It looks like somebody threw a pancake on your head.
I don't know. Green berets look pretty cool, man.
It's the reputation.
That's true.
It has to do with the entire image. It's so ingrained in our, anyways. But yeah, this was this was also for me kind of like peak Bruce Willis, in the 90s. I mean, he came off in Die Hard in 89, and we
yeah.
just, not that every movie he made was amazing, but like this was when he was kind of really at the height of his power. And this is back to when the movies he made, you could tell he was invested in trying. Like, he's an actor when he tries. I like him a lot. When he's phoning it in, it's very obvious. And this one,
Mhm.
he was into this one. You can tell from his performance.
Yeah. This movie is perhaps the most quoted movie in my household. My family still will quote this at each other. We were at Disneyland just 3 days ago. And they're going around, and a bunch of the signs say the word multipass on it. And I swear, and not only myself, I actually heard it from other people at the park go, multipass,
Yep.
multipass. Like, I'm just like, the legacy lives on, and my sister will at me. And such. And I'm actually just like stunned that my parents actually let me watch this. There were so many movies that they didn't let us watch because of the content. And they're like, this one with the crazy fighting and naked Mila Jovovich. I'm like, all right, I'm in. Let's go.
This was, what's funny is I somehow like missed it that you actually do briefly see her. It just happened. I don't know why my teenage brain didn't catch it. And I remember when I showed it to my parents on VHS later, and they were like, Brian, and I'm like, what? It's like caught off guard because
you just missed it.
Somehow I missed it. I mean, it is very brief, and you know, she's not super busty.
No, I was gonna say no shade at Mila Jovovich, but she doesn't really have much there.
No, she doesn't. She's a very attractive woman, but yeah, that's it was so funny because it totally, I was like, because my parents love sci-fi, but they didn't go see it in theaters. I saw it with friends. I was a junior in high school when this came out, so and I was a sophomore, sorry. But the yeah, it was one of those moments where like, you know, and I had to like talk my parents into lady like, no, there's nothing else, I promise. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Dude, you had to Jedi mind trick him. It's all fine here. How are you?
Oh goodness.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
considering my mom,
So
I love my mom, but she was the one who like made me like memorize where all of the, you know, dams and hells were in Star Trek, you know, and I had to mute them. Is the only way I could watch them. So the idea of a nipple was like a big deal in my house.
Right.
Brian, what's the matter with you?
But we are starting a little later, so we should jump into this. If you want to give us the rundown, Zach, and then we will have many things to say, I'm sure, as we watch it.
I guess I can do that.
Please.
So this guy is The Fifth Element. It was in 1997. Competed against one little movie called Titanic. PG-13, 2 hours and 6 minutes long, so pretty much an even 2 hours with credits. Starring Bruce Willis, Mila Jovovich, Gary Oldman, Ian Holm, Chris Tucker, as well as in terms of like screen time, you have the Tom Lister Jr. and the at the time kind of young and unknown Harry in just kind of a bit part.
That's right.
This movie does actually have like a whole bunch of little actors that are popping up in this thing that are like genre actors that not a lot of other people would recognize, but or a lot of people would recognize, I would say, but don't necessarily put it together with the fact that, wow, that's actually a really small part for somebody who has a little bit more of a screen presence. People like Lee Evans and John Neville, Lee Evans is a comedian who was actually starring in some movies in the 90s, things like Mouse Hunt and There's Something About Mary, who then he's in like 2 scenes in this whole movie. As well as a gentleman by the name of Brian James, who's in things like Blade Runner and a number of like kind of Shakespearean British movies, lots of sci-fi TV shows and things. He's this random general.
Okay, he was the general. I was about to say the general always stood out to me as like a great actor that had, you know, and did a lot with a little bit. Like he's very memorable in his 2 or 3 scenes.
Yeah. There's one actor in here who plays another general or an admiral or something that I thought was like a big actor who was in a small part, and then I was researching. I'm like, nope, I just remember him from the X-Files.
Yeah. Yeah, you're the one, Zach. Don't you actually have an Aziz Light shirt? Is that you?
I'm wearing it right now.
Nice. Aziz Light.
Light.
I always thought
this
movie would be an amazing tie-in for Stargate. Like if there was some kind of like crossover because of the Egyptian, like, you know, kind of roots of the whole thing.
I could totally see that. That's one of the things that I was going to talk about. I'm incredibly glad that this movie did not spawn a franchise.
Yeah, it I mean, who knows? It could have been good, but this is so great as like a one-off.
Like today.
Oh,
they'd be trying to milk this thing.
I'm kind of surprised nobody's trying. I mean, in the era of streaming where IP is everything, and this absolutely is a cult classic. I'm kind of shocked no streaming. You know, there's not been a Netflix or a Paramount Plus or some. You know,
I bet that they have tried. I genuinely do. I
I'm
think
sure
that it's
behind the
Luke
scenes.
Besson.
Well, because he owns
I
the
think
rights.
Luke Besson's holding it
But
hostage. Yeah. Was that Pat?
I also think the hard part, though, for a movie like this, right? Brian, you showed up to this because of Bruce Willis, not because you knew anything about it. Now we know something about it, but how do you use Willis in this?
I think you would either
You
go.
got to pick somebody else because he's kind of
Well, the only two ways I could see it is either you do a prequel, you do like Corbin
do an
Dallas
origin story.
when
I would do
when
an
he was younger.
origin story of what got him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you could also do a sequel about him and Lilu's kid, and he's like dead or something.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, the man seems to be quickly on his way there anyway. Poor guy.
Yeah, sad.
Yeah.
But yes, we should get this going. Yeah, like I said, a little over 2 hours. So you're gonna hit that play button in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yay!
Yeah, this was.
Oh man, this movie.
Yeah, this was. Yeah, this is probably for me second most quoted in my household after Princess Bride. Because Jen's a huge Princess Bride person, so that's definitely number one.
That is a big one for my family too.
But this is an easy second most quoted film. Jen, this is one of Jen's favorite sci-fi films. Also, she finds it quirky and fun, and I think actually it not being part of a franchise makes it more accessible because there's not like all this history and dense lore that you kind of, if you jump in the middle of Star Trek or Star Wars at this point, you're like, all right, what do we need to know about all this? There's so much. Right? This one's like, no, just this is it. Just take it for what it is.
Right. And there's no expanded lore on it or anything. It's also a completely original creation by the director, Luke Besson.
Yeah, he was working on the script for
also
like
wrote
10 years since he was like a kid or something.
Oh, longer. He started writing a version of it when he was like 15.
That's right. I remember, watching in one of the behind the scenes that he was like, is this heavily inspired by French comics, right? Like the Thousand City one, Valerian or whatever that he made.
Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets, which is that it's not the comic's name. That's the name of the movie that he made based on it, which is actually better than people give it credit for. It's just not as good as this. The name of it just went right out of my head.
But it's based on that, and then one other it's like Heavy Metal or something like that, like another comic series.
Heavy Metal's the one. Heavy Metal is the English name for it.
But
the music in this movie is very interesting. It's all an original score, but it's like a whole bunch of different adaptations of things. So there's like reggae music. There's this Stalinist march at one point. Very strange musical choices.
Yeah, in almost every behind-the-scenes retrospective I watched about this, they all made a point of referencing the film's score at some point of just, the variety, the weirdness, of course, the opera scene, which is very famous, and why that had to be, kind of produced because a human being cannot actually do it.
Yeah, it was written specifically so that no human ever could. Though supposedly during the recording of it, the lady who they got hit some of the notes that she wasn't supposed to have been able to.
I mean, there were some insanely talented opera singers out there. But so at this point, Luc Besson, other than The Professional, he hadn't done anything else of note outside of France, right?
That's correct. He was trying to get this movie financed for almost 15 years. And he just decided to go write this other little movie, write and direct this tiny little movie for like $15 million, while waiting for the funding for this movie to go through, and it ended up being what most people consider to be his masterpiece, Leon the Professional. Great movie.
Yeah.
A little weird in some ways, but great.
It is. I mean, it's well done. This opening, though, I think this is like such a great way to. You're able to do so much lore work here in like a 5-minute intro sequence, or however long this is. Like this is how you just quickly establish, even like if you don't answer a lot of questions or do a lot, the implied history.
Isn't this? Yeah, isn't this how Raiders of the Lost Ark starts? Indiana Jones. It's like the same start, isn't it? I'm just kidding.
No, this is the Mummy, right? This is
Oh, I thought it was Stargate.
Is it the one with the rock in it? Because that's my favorite one.
With the rock. Scorpion King out here. Yeah.
Oh god, I want to do that movie. I want to do. Well, we're gonna do the Mummy and stuff. I kind of want to do the Scorpion King, just cause.
It's got actually some fun moments in it, but this professor too, this actor. I mean, this is the only role. I mean, this little bit, but he's also like super memorable.
Yeah, and here we have the. A lot of people in this movie have died now, and it's like, that's but Luke Perry there, he died just a couple years ago. But he went on to do some pretty notable things.
This guy too, like the priest here with the water, like he's also just got such a memorable face, you know, just I don't know,
Yeah.
He just has an impact. This is one thing too. This movie's production design across the board is so memorable. It's a big part of why this movie. I mean, I think this movie has two big things going for it. One, this cast is just amazing. Like it's really well cast, and the production design of this film is so memorable. The world they create with, you know, the design of New York and the spaceships and the alien, just, you know what I mean? Like those are the two, if I had to like name my two things that really made this movie work, is those, because the plot is good, but it's a very straightforward plot.
Yeah.
But the world that the plot weaves through is what elevates it way beyond its like base parts.
Yeah.
I love
I
this
get what
part
you're
right here where he's watching the guy keep trying to drink the water, and he does.
Right? It's so annoying.
Sudden, wait for him to drink the water.
That look like following the cup up with his head is just like, oh man, I'm trying to kill you, man. Come on, work with me here.
Yeah, this I agree with what you were saying, Brian. Though I think that this movie just knocked it out of the park in kind of like all areas.
Oh yeah, it did.
It was the production design, it was the actors, but it was also like the directing, it was the special effects.
Yeah.
Holy crap, the special effects still hold up even today in some spots.
Well, there was this really was kind of the sweet spot of digital effects were starting to get pretty good, but there was still a lot of really good miniature work happening. Like comping was starting to get really good. Like late 90s, early 2000s, when it was done well, are such a distinct and amazing era in filmmaking. Like they have a very distinct look, and it looks awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I think of Lost World, Jurassic Park. Okay, not everybody's favorite memory to have, but man, its use of digital effects mixed with practical are some of the best ever made.
Yeah,
in this movie as well.
I love this scene so much. I mean, it's such a basic joke, but it's done so well. I mean, his tone and the kid's reaction, and a simple joke delivered effectively, it works.
It does. So this
is this where the Jawas come out?
They're like the Jawas' big cousins. Like if the Jawas got assimilated.
Right.
There's so
yeah.
When I was younger, I was always thinking to myself, okay, Star Trek has humans with little ridges. Star Wars has big weird aliens. So this was like this weird in between for me of like this was big like Star Trek and human and involves Earth, but it also has Star Wars like aliens in it, you know?
Yeah, I was
armadillos, that's what I call them.
Yeah, the design of these aliens is really interesting because they're genuinely alien, but they're like kind of weirdly not threatening, but at the same time so unknown. They're like, okay, no, these actually could be a problem. It's an odd mixture.
Yeah.
I mean, these are all animatronic, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, they're all practical. None of it's digital.
Or
German.
Trying to imagine one of them doing martial arts.
Right. I always love the voice. The voice like stays in my head.
Yeah. Well, especially to the go ahead.
Oh, nothing. I was just going to mention that like they're referring to World War I believe.
Well, it's 1914.
Like war is coming.
So World War I's already happened.
Yeah. So maybe they predict World War II along with it. Because it's just supposed to be Egypt And World War II did touch Egypt pretty heavily. World War One some, but not as much. And yeah, like I always thought that he died of like a heart attack. I never saw the alien's eyes glow. They did something to him and killed him.
I got my history totally reversed. 1914 is when World War One started, so yes, World War One was just about to start.
I mean, it was kind of ongoing. But...
Yeah, but I mean, like 1914 is when it like started. 1914, 1918. So, yeah. But
Dude,
that is
I love this thing.
That's a great reveal to go over the head like that, and it's just not what you're expecting.
And I like that they added those little streaks to it, so you can see how dusty it is.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a production design. It's the dirty sci-fi that Star Wars and THX 1138 did so well at.
But it's dirty, but it's well lit dirty, which is it's nice because as much as Blade Runner is amazing, and a lot of others, it just that really dark sci-fi. This was like well lit, which is refreshing in contrast, even though it is very much lived in.
Well, and that's what they wanted because there was so much sci-fi that was basically in dark corridors and not well lit. So they purposefully made a lot of it out in the daytime, out in lighted areas.
Yeah, kind of like Aliens and such.
Yeah, well, it reflected the style of the comics also, right? Because didn't he actually get one of the main guys from the comic series inspired him to come work on this film?
Yes, he did. I don't have that name immediately in front of me. I was going to, but today ended up being kind of crazy, and I forgot to do that.
No worries.
But like, do you think a little that's not a Webley. Crap, what is that thing? I know that thing. It's the broom handle. Mauser, broom handle pistol. That thing fires a fairly large bullets, actually. So maybe it could have a little bit of...
I mean, it's where I don't know how much armor they have versus that's just like if it's just an environmental suit. Because it's interesting here that like the one shot kind of triggers this whole thing. And even like when the when this one thing about these aliens actually that they're not ever portrayed as being formidable like in combat. Like when they show up later, their ship is actually taken out pretty easily by the I forget the ear dudes.
Yeah.
Later.
Floppy ear boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, but these things actually fire like a 7.63 by 25. So that's fairly potent.
Now I have to wonder, like, at some point the hand's stuck in there. Did they like reopen it and like push him back in so that this wouldn't get rediscovered, or maybe this whole temple was destroyed, or because that would definitely be some evidence right there sitting around, like alien hand sticking out of the wall.
I could see that.
I mean, he's got the key.
Just imagine
he
that he doesn't understand. Yeah, just imagine that he doesn't understand drive cones and just gets disintegrated.
Yeah.
So this right here, it's supposed to be Egypt, but it was actually filmed in the country of Mauritania, which is on the west coast of Africa, and I completely forget that country exists pretty much all the time.
Yeah. This is a cool transition right here too, of just the transition there of immediately tells the audience, "Yep, we're there." What this is predicting, it's just it's a clean transition.
300 years later.
I mean, they say it, but you know what I mean. It's just there's some fun transitions in this film.
There is this general here. This is an actor by the name of John Neville, and I was saying, like, I thought that he was a big actor, like a classic Shakespearean actor, and he's been in a bunch of like French things and such. He's known for being in like Baron Munchausen, one of the worst movies ever made. And like bad guys on things like he was Baron Munchausen in The Adventures of Baron Munchausen.
Yeah. Well, he plays a bad guy. Well, this was the only thing here. The only if I thought of one criticism of this film, and it's got a few nitpickies. The only thing that I thought was genuinely not creative at all is that, and if the guy never thought about it, my bad. But it's just when I see the ships, it's just somebody took a Star Destroyer and made it straight, and put no more creative thought into it whatsoever. The design of these ships is the only thing in this movie where I always thought seemed lazy and generic to me.
They could have done better, yeah.
I will need.
All I know is that general guy, that French general guy.
I love his hat.
That French general guy looks like a cross between Mads Mikkelsen and Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're totally right.
Yeah. To clarify too, I'm referring strictly to the exterior of the ships, not the interiors.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But Go ahead, Zach. What were you gonna say?
I don't remember. I thought you were going to criticize the design of the bad guy, the evil ball.
Oh, no. The capital ship that the Alliance or whatever are flying here. Like I said, they're just a rectangle Star Destroyer. It's got the 3 engines, it's got the bridge tower thing sticking up, and got the same basic texture with the edges, where you got all the antennae, weapons, and stuff on the edges, but just kind of a smooth top and bottom. It seems it's like it's weird. This movie is so unique. The design of its ships and its tech is so, unique to this film, and it's like the one ship where it's like that was like an afterthought, or I'm not sure.
I can see that. This scene's interesting. Like, it introduces the president here. It introduces Ian Holmes' character, this priest. They also have the little automatic concierge thing call out, like, that he's a doctor of astrophenomena, so he has like credentials beyond being just a priest.
Yeah, when he's allowed to have an audience with the president, obviously, so he's got some kind of legitimate standing.
This actor who played the president, a gentleman by the name of Tom Lister Jr., he was a wrestler and an actor and a boxer, died just a couple years ago now. But really interesting choice for a politician president. It's like, he doesn't look like a statesman. He doesn't look like a politician. I think that's very much what they were going for.
Yeah. And okay, let's see too. The costume design of this movie is all over the place in like a lot of fun way. Like the variety. I don't think I've ever seen so much variety in costuming in any other film. Can you think of another film that's got so many different things going on? So much sci-fi is everybody dresses the same or some variation of the same. And this, especially when we get to Flocks in Paradise later.
Some variation of the same pajamas.
Yes.
You're right. That's a Star Destroyer that had sex with a...
got the front... It looks like it got the front cut off.
It's a Star Destroyer that banged an aircraft carrier.
Yeah, it's just... Yeah. Although this scene, when you see, just it growing, and then this is where the actor playing it with the blood coming down the head that happens here in a second. It's an effective...
that's blood?
I always took it as blood. What do you take it as?
It's chocolate syrup.
Well, it's supposed to be blood, I believe.
Yes, it's supposed to be blood.
Okay.
But it's chocolate syrup.
I love the guys working around the edge with like the crazy helmets and all the tubes, and it's like, what are these guys doing?
Oh, but you were talking about costume variety. Yeah. And I think that one that needs to be mentioned is actually the Star Wars prequel trilogy.
Yeah,
I think
that is true.
That the Star Wars prequel trilogy took some notes from this. The much brighter lighting, the action take place in like really well lit places, corridors, the absolutely crazy set designs and costuming. We hadn't really seen much like that before this movie, and then 2 years later, Phantom Menace comes out.
Yeah. That's true.
I don't know. I think George Lucas watched this and went, you know what? This is good.
Yeah. This introduction is a fantastic, because you're being introduced to character really well here. You're telling so many things about him, and at the same time, kind of normal life in this world. Just tiny apartment, smoking still thing, but like the size of the filters, the way his apartment tells you kind of just hints about technology and how normal life. I mean, the mom. It's just. I'm sorry, not the mom. The mom's later. This is like his boss or whatever. But I love this whole sequence. Is great. This is great storytelling.
Yeah, because this isn't even his boss. This is his old CEO. This is implying that it's telling you that he's more than just a random guy. He is actually a soldier.
Well, I mean, having like Medal of Honor there, but like obviously he doesn't care about it. And the picture here, but not showing you the picture.
Yeah.
Oh, the classic bachelor fridge.
Yep.
I appreciated this era, and this is one of I will still defend Bruce Willis. I mean, not that he needs defending. I think when he was at his peak, he was such a good everyman because he's not like some muscle bound, He's a very 90s action hero, and that he's just a lean and shaped guy, but it's all about his attitude. His sarcasm, his persona. It's not about, I'm dangerous because just look at me. Of course I'm dangerous. It's something different than that, which I appreciate because we're kind of back into that a little bit. This cat, the cat's eyes.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
the foreshadowing on Lost in Paradise and Ruby Rod.
Oh man, I love this cat so much, and this whole scene is so classic. There's so many iconic sequences in this film. Give me the cash.
I did not understand what was going on in this when I was younger, and I'm like, why is he acting like this?
He's freaking high, man.
He's so cracked out.
And this is another actor who just this one scene, but he's so good in it. He's just his little laugh and his shake. He's so good.
Give me the cash.
And there's a button that the reach here for the button. Oh man, I'm gonna have to try to not
look at
just
this
watch
thing,
this.
It has like these magazines feeding it on the side, but it has a bolt. Like.
Oh yeah,
why does it have a bolt?
The weapon design in this movie is just absurd. I mean, what's funny is that his pistols, which is kind of boring, like the only thing that seems even remotely like it might work.
I don't need it.
And the fact that he just starts laughing at him.
It's just like this is a kind of normal thing.
Yeah, like this happens fairly often. This guy's outfit too, his pants. Oh man,
I love that he just has this little gun locker.
I could totally see some crazy version of this though in the future. Like the idea of like your license plugging into your car and points, and you can't drive unless it's Anyways, like it's definitely
ChatGPT is sitting there telling you, "Come on, man."
Oh. Of course, you got the dice. This cab is just the right amount of grimy too, to sell you that this is a real world.
Yeah, they built practical and miniature versions of this cab and made it go through all of the movements that they CG, so that way they had CG.
This movie's definitely got a couple things too, like because I mean the threat is very vague. It's just evil. And then I mean I don't know.
Apparently, it was supposed to be Lovecraftian, but they didn't have the budget for like a Cthulhu.
This movie actually, like, he had to rewrite it to be a $90 million. I remember the budget, and they, as far as I read, they didn't go over. Like, they stayed in their budget.
They did stay within their budget. Part of that was hiring a bunch of like French production and such, because it's a little bit cheaper, but it's also the people that he knew and used. But yeah, they stayed within their budget. It was originally like a $115 million production, $100 million production. He was able to shave it off. They were going to go for a cheaper actor than Bruce Willis. They initially wanted Mel Gibson, but he turned it down. Mel Gibson was not Mel Gibson. Bruce Willis was like, oh, this is interesting. Back when he was the first attempt to get it made. And then later, when he was actually able to get it made, he is talking to Bruce Willis about something else, and he's just like, oh yeah, we're able to make that movie. He's like, let me see the script. He's like, sorry, we can't afford you. And if I like the script, you can afford me.
Yeah.
And he waived actually a large portion of his fee in return for box office returns, 1%.
Yeah, which I'm sure worked out in his favor, because this wasn't like a massive hit, but it definitely made money.
It about quadrupled its budget.
Yeah. So that's where I mean, like this. It's interesting that this ship seems like it didn't even fight back in this scene. At least nothing visible.
Yeah.
It's a random.
It is a cool design, though.
Oh, it is
Very different.
Like I said, this definitely, and a lot of this seems like the way this is shot really seems like it could be comic panels.
Does it kind of do the other aliens, the eerie ones, which I cannot remember their names? They're like Gaurons or something. Do they remind you of like Ninja Turtles?
Like
the 90s Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's because, I mean, they definitely look like they could come right out of Jim Henson's puppet shop.
My sister loved her little nail polish thing. She's like, I want one of those.
Yeah. Yeah, so freaking Gary Oldman, and I mean that in the best way. He is And what's funny is from everything I've understood, Gary Oldman does not actually like this movie very much, but he is one of the best character actors of his generation, like hands down, in my opinion.
Oh, so good. When he got an Oscar, it's like, freaking finally.
Yeah. I mean, the sheer amount of roles that he's done, that he's just been amazing in all. I can't think of a bad performance he's given. And that he's good.
Go for it.
Well, I was going to say, he's one of those actors who can play totally maniacally evil and total good guy. And I mean, there's not a lot of actors who can do both of those well.
Yeah. But Gary Oldman is one of these guys who he will just like, oh yeah, I did that. It was interesting. But he does stuff for the money, and he does stuff that he has like passion for, and a whole bunch of his movies are just like, oh yeah, I just wanted a paycheck, and that seemed like something that I could do. He did this one as a favor to the director Luc Besson because of because he was in Leon the Professional.
Yeah. I know a lot of people consider that one of his best performances. And I mean, and it's very, very good. But
so good.
He's been in so many good movies. But he's one of those actors that even when he's in a movie just to get paid, you can't really tell because he's just that good and committed of an actor, I feel like. Versus so many other actors who...
RoboCop?
I'm not saying across the board, but even in that one, he's not bad in that one.
Yeah, that's how I was just saying. Like, he's fine, you know?
Yeah, no, I don't think he's the kind of guy who could let himself not do his best, you know?
Amanda Seyfried's Red Riding Hood.
I've never seen that. I thought this was such a cool sequence. It was just one of those, again, this movie introduces some very, like, interesting takes on future tech, like the way it presents future tech. And this I always thought was like, this is so cool. Just, and the fact that it shows it so well. I mean, Digital Domain did all the effects work on this, and I mean, they were the only other major player, I believe, besides ILM back then, right?
Mm-hmm. And I would swear this was ILM if you didn't tell me.
Yeah.
But here we have a mix of the practical and the CG. You know, it works really well, and it's kind of almost like 3D printing a human body. You know, that's really cool. When
it does,
I love the little scientist guy. How he has like weird monk-like shaved head in order to work with his implants. Like, look at that.
Yeah. It's always interesting too, in like this is the era too where we got all this crazy high tech stuff happening, but their displays are still limited by the TV screens of the time they were shot in. So they've got like this like CRTs and like wireframe models. Yet they're like 3D printing humans. I got like HVAC like ductwork to this thing. It's good though. I mean, it works. It's such a unique aesthetic. It's still fun, even though if you think about it, you know, it's a little bit absurd, but it's just also just cool and it works.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, and it's supposed to be the hand of the statue, the being that was taken onto the ship at the beginning.
Yep.
Look,
Yep. See, I think what caught me off guard here was because the color of the wall behind her is a very similar color. I didn't notice it at first.
Yeah. No, that's one of those things my mom would always like make us look away or do this thing or flip it from channel 3 over to this other thing. But
this line. Oh gosh. This scientist, another like you said, like his whole thing, another very memorable, even though it's a small role, he's so memorable in it.
He's creepy. He's weird. Yep.
This language though, right? That they like basically created this language for the film, the like divine language or something like that?
Yes, they created a small sampling, about 400 words, and a lot of it's gibberish.
Yeah, it's not like an actual working language, but it's not like a take on another language, right? Didn't they like Luc Besson just kind of invent this thing with Mila?
Yeah. She was only 19 when she filmed this.
Really?
Yeah. Her casting is super sus, by the way. Like, it was probably on the up and up, but the way that this story is told by Mila Jovovich, it sounds really suspect. Where essentially she was super nervous during the first audition and she didn't do well. And then she happened to run into the director at his hotel. They had a drink together and he gave her another chance.
I think there might be more to that story.
That's the way it's described.
All right. It's in France, you know? What do you do?
I mean, she's a great choice.
Oh yeah, no,
I haven't really liked her in anything else, but she's a great choice.
Yeah, she's somebody who I thought who was great in this. I've only seen one of the Resident Evil films, and it was just like whatever. What's the other? There's like one other big one that she was in. She's in the Monster Hunter movie, wasn't she?
Evil. No, she's in everything done by that director because they're married.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh goodness. There's like growl that she does. It's just very like, all right.
It's a tiger growl.
It's not actually her growling.
No. Like right there. That's a tiger sound.
I always like wondered if I mean, when I first saw this, I thought that she killed him right there.
Yeah, I remember thinking that as well. Oh my god, I forgot she was in that absolutely horrific Three Musketeers movie from 2011 with Orlando Bloom and Stevenson.
Oh,
God, that movie was so bad I wanted to vomit.
I have not seen that one.
Yeah,
this one, the reaction of the scientist here when she leaves, and just the whole like his blank stare, just perfect. Right. What he says here in a minute. Oh, that's good.
Like, did they just build a set and cover it in foil?
It definitely looks like kind of that space gold foil. The cops here too. Again, the big lights on them, the guns up on their shoulder. It's like all very cool design work. I mean, again, and hats off to the costume designers of this film. Really,
and hats off to the extras who had to walk around with those helmets and act like they could see.
Yeah, it's heavily tinted slats or whatever they got.
No, they're just blind.
Really?
It's supposed to be like a heads-up display or something inside there. They can't see through those.
This shot, though, okay, I remember watching building this city. This is like a, 1/20th or 1/25th scale, like
1/24
miniature here? Like crazy amounts of work for New York.
But also heavily digitized as well. Yeah. It's that mixture, and it's why it still looks really good today, even if you can kind of tell, there's some blur to it. But no, they did window tinting, and they put little miniature furniture in windows. It's nuts.
So you can see his eyes, yeah. But he probably
I know that there were some of the helmets that were just solid pieces because they were talking about how some of them just had to kind of trust.
Yeah. His reaction here, just like he doesn't. Oh man, I love the idea that
the NYPD in this movie are low key, just like fantastic. Like kind of background comedy.
Yeah. Well, the one guy that's like ordering McDonald's in a little bit, isn't he like a famous like British comedian or something? I think he was in Red Dwarf.
He was on the show Red Dwarf. Yeah.
Okay. I love it too. Just the cops are just like, we can barely be bothered. Like, we're doing our job, but this kind of sucks.
Mm-hmm. And here we have the dirty sci-fi. She's got the dirty hands from crawling through the ducts. She's been touching her face and all this stuff. By the way, I've been to San Diego Comic-Con before. Lots of Leelus.
Oh, I'd imagine.
Especially this outfit. No further comment. That's a pretty cool scene. She did a bunch of her own stunts.
Yeah. Well, she had her history. I mean, was she a dancer or something?
Yes.
Before she got into yeah. I mean, and this is where so this movie definitely has some coincidences, but they're just fun like this. Like, sure, I love your license. I love Bruce Willis. Sorry, he really was the king for a while of just the attitude he has in this movie. Just that quippy, like this is quippy before Marvel made quippy a thing, Just
I genuinely believe that this was a heavy inspiration for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Survivors. Because I mean, I think the thing about Bruce Willis that I always enjoyed about, because he played this type of character obviously many times, including most famously in Die Hard. He makes you believe, in my opinion, that this is actually who he is. That he's not like playing a character. That he's the kind of guy who would be cracking jokes in inappropriate situations, or just always making some sarcastic comment. He sells that version of a guy really well, and because it comes across as genuine, you enjoy it, versus it coming across as this is some kind of character type that he's playing.
Yeah.
His reaction is like,
than her.
Yeah. Just his reaction, like, I have no idea what you're, you crazy lady.
Eek, bada boom.
Carrot hair she's got. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to make myself talk because I just want to watch this again. I've seen this movie easily 20 times, and I just enjoy it every time.
I'm trying not to talk too much, so you and Pat can talk.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna. Because silence.
My biggest struggle with all these movies is I don't watch them often enough to not just be like, this is cool. Okay. Right. That's probably my biggest struggle with the last several movies have kind of been that way. Yeah, I agree with you about the whole Bruce Willis thing. Just that this is probably one of my, I mean, aside from Die Hard, but this is probably one of my first experiences, like really like strong memories where it's like, yeah, okay, he's that guy. Like that's who he is. That's Bruce Willis, period.
I actually didn't grow up with a lot of Bruce Willis movies.
Well, other than, I mean, it was Die Hard, this, and probably Armageddon were like the other big 90s films. I mean, he had other big ones. I mean, the Sixth Sense.
You're missing one.
The Sixth Sense was the other one. But he definitely played a similar type of character in all those except Sixth Sense. But
just, my parents weren't going to have me watching stuff like The Last Boy Scout and Die Hard and things like that. I was watching Fifth Element, Armageddon, Sixth Sense, essentially. I think I saw him on like a couple TV shows, but the big one for me growing up was Unbreakable.
Yeah, and that is I think that movie is better than The Sixth Sense, but The Sixth Sense was such a big cultural thing at the time. That's what most people think of first.
Yeah.
The music here too. I was just looking at the scene, the way the music's building, and she's, the way it's just this is structured, going back and forth the cops to him, and you're seeing his decision, and it's good.
Yeah, and he seems like the type of guy who would be reckless enough to do something like this, and he's gonna go after this. He's probably gonna move off world and become like a mercenary or something, During the filming of this, they had him on a big rig, and it was shaking, so that way they didn't have to fake anything. He was strapped in. She was not.
Yeah.
And
she almost got hurt a few times, right? Like just being launched around in the backseat of this thing.
Bruises, sprains.
See, this is what McDonald's, by the way.
Thing.
But to say, this is what McDonald's needs to do to like become really relevant again. Just, have the servers.
Yeah. Right? Dress like that.
Oh, gosh.
No, dude, I've worked a drive-through, especially a drive-through that we actually called it Auburn PD Substation 1. Cops, the younger cops do love to flirt with the girls at the drive-through. It's true.
I love the whole, maybe it's 2 miles. Just the little lines like that also sell you on the fact that like this is a world he's there's expectations, there's behavior that is, being commented on as though this is, again, like the cultural norms of this all happen, and it's great.
He speaks the same languages as me. But part of the reason why that happens is because he was actually given free reign to ad-lib what he wanted, because his roots are in comedy.
Oh, yeah. He's, as much as he's an action star, Bruce Willis is an underrated comedic talent.
I mean, he got his start on Moonlighting, Yeah, that was a thing. I forget the word. That was a comedy show.
Oh yeah, absolutely a comedy show. This is also just a really good chase, in general, because a good chase, you keep track of where things are. But there's
they got the McDonald's they needed.
There's the comedy to the whole thing. The music going on here, it's like reggae music or something going on here.
Like accordion music,
Okay.
And like right here, they're blowing up squibs on the actual physical model, and then they're digitizing parts of it at the same time, and the combination of those two is just masterful.
Yeah, it looks good.
But I always loved that McDonald's scene because for some reason I could identify that those were McDonald's patties and McDonald's buns.
Oh yeah, they
look just like them.
Well, and yeah, you can you immediately can tell if if you left them out for a year, they'd look fine.
Yeah. I have a huge soft spot for McDonald's. It's really bad for me.
Oh man. Yeah, the line he has too of just the whole "I only speak 2 languages" is it's one of the best lines. I wonder if that was improv or not.
Oh, it was improv. That's the one, because I was looking into that one because for a long time I thought that he was actually saying another language and I didn't recognize it, because when we can't understand each other, or we like my family, or when we can understand each other and it's just kind of we shouldn't be able to. It's just like which is English and bad English.
Yep.
That's that. Yeah.
It's also true.
This movie's so good.
Yeah. I also love the very real thing that people do, which is when somebody obviously doesn't understand you, you think like it's a human thing. If I talk louder, it will somehow make them understand me better, which is like makes no sense. Yet people do it all the time. And it's not just Americans. Like it's a very common human behavior where it's like, why would you speaking louder make a difference?
Oh my god, dude. Go to the Middle East and just have some guy yell "Yalla" at you for a half hour until you finally do whatever he says. It's an experience, let me tell you.
Just faints. Oh man, this whole scene is great.
Yeah.
His reaction. And the fact that he does the congratulations at the end. Just, Ian Holm is, oh my gosh. I mean, he's famous for Bilbo and so many other, Chariots of Fire, so many great films.
Alien.
He's such a treasure in this movie. Because he's passionate, but he's also like just dry and funny.
Oh, he's amazing.
Oh, when he tries to get tough later, it's just, it's so good.
Yeah, he's like this really convicted, like driven wimp.
Oh, but then when Bruce Willis is going like, all right, I gotta sit here. He's passed out. I'm holding this. Man, it's just funny.
He's a lot more gentle with her.
Yes, yeah. The girl, remember?
Bizarre. It's divine.
I was there when she landed. It's a she. He's a she.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's just such a great scene.
I love this.
No man. I also that that Bruce Willis I'm not sure I would go as far as calling him an anti-hero because he's not by any means. But no, he's not some like paragon of virtue,
No, he's the everyman hero.
Yeah.
He's not going through the hero's journey.
No.
He's just a dude who's caught up in it, and he has a reason to be hooked to it, which is his spontaneous affection for this perfect being.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just trying to make his way by.
Well, there's spontaneous affection, and also I think they've established, he's just kind of, his life sucked, and he's like, what the heck? This could be interesting and exciting. And then also there's a pretty girl, and as shallow as it might be, sometimes a pretty girl is a perfectly valid motivation for a guy to be like, I'll go.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been there. there.
His shirt too is just great. It's just pulls out
I
like
could never
magnet.
pull off that color.
Well, I love that it matches her hair.
That's true, it does.
Call me when you learn to speak English.
Right?
Oh, the fact that she's got a gun on him and he's still like flirting with her, even though she's like, It just tells you though too, right here. He's just, the scene in the hallway already did it, but then even with here, he's just not somebody who's easily fazed by being threatened, which tells you a lot about his character.
He's not afraid.
That whole thing. Oh my gosh. How do you know off the top of your head how long did they spend shooting this? I feel like this was probably a fast shoot.
Actually, the opposite. It was a very long shoot. They spent almost 7 months filming this movie.
Wow. Okay, it is long.
Yeah, to the point where, because one of the interviews that I watched, Mila Jovovich was talking about how, as a 19-year-old, 7 months is a really long time, and she was new to Hollywood. She's Ukrainian, and that we're talking just a couple of years after the fall of the Soviet.
Yeah.
Not too long after Chernobyl, right?
Well, this was mostly shot up in Pinewood, though, wasn't it?
Yes, but she had a lot of anxiety about her home and her family status and stuff, and she was working really hard to get them taken care of properly, and she didn't really know what she should be doing. And so after 7 months of doing this movie, it ended. She didn't know what to do.
I was there when she landed.
Yeah.
This I love this little tag. Just never without my permission. That's what I thought. Just
consent, man, consent.
It's a thing. But I love the fact here too that like it's not like they let this come back. Like he comes back, they don't just resolve it right there. You know, you get one more good scene back in this apartment with this cat and his mom calling.
Yeah.
It's just like this whole scene is just gold. He gets takeout and the whole thing.
The mom calling and the fact that she didn't sound like an old lady was always super weird to me as a kid.
You thought that that's purring like a kid.
But
she was like
the future, right?
Yeah, I mean it's true, but I just the kind of the they're going with such a cliche of right, like almost. I don't mean the stereotype way, but like kind of the Italian mom, or the
Greek.
Yeah, the Greek mom. That's right. Yeah. I'm just gonna give you a hard time, and I can literally set the phone down, and you won't even realize it for like 10, 15 minutes.
Right. But you see, just kind of like
the comics on the side there, right there, Adolf and like Sanctuary, like the Coke logo. Yeah.
Yeah. This is one of those things that like kind of stuck with me a little bit because we've all been in those. I don't know if we've all been, but I remember after the first date I had with my now wife, I could feel that there was something special about
absolutely
situation, this relationship. It's just he does such a great way, and it's well directed and well acted of presenting that kind of thing.
Well, when you have that moment where you kind of the initial that newness of, and there's a mystery there still, but you're attracted. You can't quite put your finger on why, but it's very definitely there. Oh yeah, and it's all you're thinking about. This whole scene though, just like the dehydrated, it comes out and it's like a full chicken dinner.
I want this so much about the technology in here, like the chicken good.
It's amazing.
Like that's another thing that was quoted in my family all the time. Chicken. Good.
Oh yeah. Her whatever like accent she's doing is also just it's a really good balance between being kind of sci-fi and strange, but also just really good for comedy.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of childish.
Yeah.
It actually reminds me a lot. I knew a girl. Her name was Zizi. She was Iranian, but she grew up in an area. She lived in Ukraine for a little while and such, but she had a very similar, almost childish-like accent when attempting to speak English. And, Iran is incredibly close to Ukraine, but, you go up into, like, Azerbaijan and that area of Russia. But I've noticed that a lot of people from those areas tend to have that almost more childish accent when attempting to speak English. But that's just a personal, anecdote. I don't know how truth it is.
Yeah. I love this idea of, like, the makeup thing. Then, okay, so, like,
yeah.
Mr. Zorg's, his outfit, I always wonder, like, what was Gary Oldman's reaction when they showed him, like, this plastic thing that's going to wrap around your head? Just like, wait, what?
Right.
He's like, what is this thing? The high collar and like the shiny plasticky fabric, and this scene too. These poor guys.
Yeah, like, another thing, I had to look away because there's boobies in the background. How did this get PG-13?
I mean, it came out the same year as Titanic. That was PG-13.
Was that just the year of experimental PG-13 boobs?
I think it's kind of like the one F word you get.
Ratings changed.
PG-13. Well, the ratings changed, but I know that there was basically you could do a certain amount of nudity as long as it wasn't explicitly like in a sexual setting. It's kind of like you get your F word in a PG-13, but you can't use it in a sexual context. You have to use it in a non-sexual context in order to get away with it in PG-13.
And only once.
Yes, only once. Use it well. Yeah, they definitely seem like Ninja Turtle villains.
Yes. Okay, I have so much to say about this scene.
Go for it.
One, Zorg's limp keeps changing sides. Second, this prop, okay? This freaking thing. Do you know how obsessive people are over this prop?
How much of it was practical?
A lot of it. It could shoot blanks. There was a gun in it that could shoot blanks. It had the rocket launcher attachment. Its basic interior was based off of the AKS. But the grenade launcher, rocket launcher, those things would actually shoot on some models using air compressors and the net launcher. But and they built a flamethrower model, though they had to use some digital stuff on that.
My favorite.
But
his accent
Adam
is also
Savage.
Great. Go ahead.
Adam Savage of Mythbusters was one of these people who was obsessed with this prop and would watch this scene over and over and over to figure out how it worked and how to build it. There was a recent auction in which he got to hold one of the original props that was being auctioned off. And he did a video on it. He was freaking out about it. He and these groups of people in the early internet would work together to figure out how to remake the props for these egg guns. ZF-1 pod weapon.
Yeah. This is so good. His reaction here. And her laugh right there. Man, the editing of this sequence is great.
Supposed to be fault.
It's such a great way to tell the audience about it, but still have fun with the villain.
Right?
It's like oh gosh. and he's just kind of like, all right, you know, like he's interpreting for his is that supposed to be his son or just like his apprentice?
His apprentice. Like his altar boy, essentially.
Dot.
Lost in Paradise.
Oh God!
I love it here. Like, you asked for a case, I brought you a case. This whole it's so good. You can. I've seen this so many times, and it's still so funny.
Right? No, it's his acting, man. It takes this whole thing. He's like,
oh, just that you can still count. Oh,
I feel like these are Klingons meets Pakleds.
Oh yeah, well, because they come across as dangerous, but a little bit stupid.
Yeah,
a little bit stupid.
And the whole
they feel almost like the Krogan in
a little bit, yeah, Mass Effect.
In Mass Effect, in the way that they were probably not the ones who figured out how space flight. They were probably found by another race and went, "Hey, these are good fighters. Let's bring them into space and turn them into our warriors." And now they're a problem.
Yep. Oh, this is so good though.
Oh, the music.
And this cigarette, and just playing it cool. Do you want to talk a little bit about this movie that the hero and the villain are not completely unaware of each other's existence, but have no awareness whatsoever.
They never meet.
Well, they don't even realize they're working against each other. Like, they're not even aware that they're, essentially in conflict. It's
they are completely unaware of each other's existence. There's the chance that Zorg knows about Corbin Dallas because of the contest, right? But he wouldn't think of him as any form of threat. He's just a dude who won a contest.
Yeah.
Well,
the the idea too that, I mean, Corbin Dallas would probably know who Mr. Zorg is just because he's ultimately like owns this company or whatever. But other than just some corporate name, would have no care.
Right. He would know him like if you worked at a Tesla dealership and you knew who Elon Musk was.
Yeah.
But one of the things about it is that in the original script, they did meet. They ran into each other on Lost in Paradise. Zorg had come to realize through information being fed to him that Dallas was some sort of super operative. He was supposed to be carrying one of the egg guns, and which he was, the ZF-1s, but it was supposed to have a whole bunch of other little things in it, like a cell phone and a tracking beacon and stuff like that. And Corbin Dallas was supposed to get mad at him for firing him, which happens here in a few minutes.
Yeah.
And they like get into a fight, not even because of the central conflict, but because Corbin's upset about getting fired. Beats him half to death, takes the stones, and then Zorg actually escapes, but he crash lands on the planet and is stuck on a glacier. And then he's trying to call his assistant, but the battery on the ZF-1 phone dies, and he's left stranded on the planet to die. Cost-cutting measure.
Nice. It's an interesting little speech here, too, because, I mean, not that he's right by any means, but just kind of how the ripple effects, it's just an interesting idea, even though obviously it's just used as the setup for the comedic moment here.
Well, it's more than just a comedic moment. This is also meant to represent kind of the central theme of the whole thing. Like, Zorg is very Machiavellian in how he approaches things, but the whole movie is supposed to be like he's dealing with a biological problem right now, right? And technology that we have created can't solve his biological problem, but the priest's more archaic methods can. And it's all supposed to be very foreshadowy. It's metaphorical.
Yeah.
Parabolic.
And Ian Holm is great here in just this little, like, where he just kind of settles calmly into this. Like, he's not going to let him die, but he's still perfectly happy to just make his point.
Yeah. He does come across as a little bit of like a, he'd be Obi-Wan Kenobi's younger brother who just didn't quite get the serenity down. You know?
He didn't make it through the Jedi Academy.
He's a garbage pail Jedi.
He works in the archives, you know? He knows a lot about the Jedi, but he never got his lightsaber.
That would be the Jedi Service Corps, where all the Padawans that washed out and weren't made knights went to the Jedi Service Corps.
Yeah. Nice transition there with the ring.
I may know a little bit too much about that, so.
Now we got 3 neutered Star Destroyers.
It's more like circumcised.
Oh man, little cockroach with the antenna.
Oh, I forgot about that. This is such a weird scene.
The fact that too, like, the president doesn't even like he hits him with a shoe, but he's like not even that, like, you know, disturbed by the fact that it shows up. Like, it's just like people are just used to everything being kind of dirty.
Yeah. The Mondachiwas. That's the name of those big
isn't this guy
armadillo people.
Wasn't this guy like a musician or something? I think he was in Massive Attack or something like that.
Yeah, I think he is a musician.
I don't know the name of the character. It's just oof. His name is Right Arm. The character's name is Right Arm. No. The actor's name is Tricky.
Oh, okay.
The character's name is Right Arm. His actual name is Adrian Nicholas Matthew Thaws. He's born in the UK. I can't find the name of the band he's in.
I think it's Massive Attack.
I find everything else.
I think I heard that in one of my behind the scenes videos I was watching prepare for this.
Yeah,
Massive Attack, but which is
Yes, Massive Attack.
Yeah, one of the quintessential '90s electronic bands. But
Mhm.
this, I mean,
I
this
love
guy
this
is
guy.
like, he's such a, I mean, he plays a cliche Asian guy a lot, but he's great. You are
Right?
fired.
I mean, that's another one of those lines that my family quotes at each other all the time, where it's just like, like, I'm gonna lose my job. Saying, you are fired. So, I mean, that might be a little bit racist, but
It might be.
oops.
But it's also like, the at least I won lunch, and then good philosophy.
Yeah.
I love the cigarettes with the massive filters. I don't know why. It just is a little touch that really sells, that this is, the vice still exists, but there's like just kind of the neutered future version of it.
Yeah. I love the little ship personally. It's like a boat, you know?
Yeah. He's singing
It's a little
as he-
Chinese junk.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
The match there, nice little foreshadowing. The one match left. It comes like an hour later. Goes back around.
Yeah. He got mugged? Oh, right, the guy.
Yeah, the intro. It's interesting to hear that he, like his mom heard it on the news, but I don't know. Interesting. I mean, it works for the comedic timing of this scene, but it is interesting that.
Well, I mean,
Good.
I'm completely unplugged at the moment. I'm not looking at my social media much or anything like that. I'm not looking at current event news things. And that'll happen sometimes when you're busy, right?
Yeah.
So you just think about it, like he's not paying any attention.
Yeah.
And they rigged this contest for him, right?
This, oh my gosh, the operative that's supposed to go with him back there with the overkill Princess Leia hair. Oh my gosh, when she does like the bow here in a minute, it just kills me. I mean, it's
so good.
definitely playing to a type, but my goodness, not to go too far down the imaginary road, but can you imagine what that would be like?
I don't think I want to follow that train of thought if that's where your train of thought's going.
Oh, doesn't he break this light in a second or something? He's holding on to.
Yeah.
Oh man. And
Yeah.
the third one.
You're
The only one alive. Oh man.
Yeah, I think this.
You're a winner. I love that he just breaks the light and just like old tricks still work kind of thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
This general is such a weird mixture of like kind of goofy, but also I don't know. Like the beginning, he seems competent, but then in this scene, he's coming across as just a comedian playing a general in a way. This man, this bow, just and his reaction, like
His movement was like weirdly almost gay.
Yeah, it's like no.
But like the look down as he's like, oh, he's obviously upset because she's ugly or something.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
His reaction here, just
Okay. Major Iceborg. The character's name is Major Iceborg.
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 In the fridge. I love he puts him in the fridge. Just like
He's just like, does he kill them? Are they dead? No, they're not, because he pops up later.
He does pop up later,
like,
but they definitely ain't happy. I don't know how you put 3 people in this fridge. The look on his face there. Oh man. Also wash.
I also love the design though that the shower is actually part of the refrigerator. Somebody really put a lot of thought into how these little pods would work.
Oh yeah. Well, and it seems futuristic, but in a like this is the crappy place you go when you can't afford anything else. Like this is like the future's version of basic housing. He basically lives in a shipping container here. That's like the size he's got.
Yeah.
To save the world.
A little laugh. Yeah.
Oh man. There's so many layers that get going here.
I think that's one of the things I love about it. Is just that
oh yeah,
you have to kind of try to explain it. So you have Zorg, who is controlling the police and wants to arrest Corbin Dallas. And then you have the military who wants him to run an operation. And then you have the priest and the space girl, and they want to use his access in order to travel to the hotel to get the stones. It's very layered, but I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I dig it.
Well, and I always loved like competing agendas, kind of all happening at once.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
This poor
it's always
guy.
really funny. That's some of my favorite storytelling methods of all those different things like coming together. Oh, here we go.
I'm a meat popsicle. It's such a
What's that
simple
even
but funny
mean?
line. I don't know.
But
And so this guy was he was going to pretend to be Corbin Dallas, right?
I don't know.
No,
I think he's just supposed to be crazy.
Well, because he's got the
Yeah, I think so.
I think
No,
yeah,
because didn't Lilu rip it off and put it on somebody else's?
maybe.
Oh, you wait. No, you think he stole it?
Wasn't that one of the Ninja
Turtles?
Turtles?
Yeah, it was one. I thought he was. Yeah, won't go.
I thought it was one of the Ninja Turtles.
Well, no,
I don't know.
yeah, no, they picked him up. No, it wasn't because then this guy was gonna impersonate him. He's the one who goes to the.
I love his
They're just
pet.
trying to get rid of Corbin Dallas.
Yeah. I love the fact that like he somehow needed to impersonate him to like go to this place when obviously he has the money.
I think it has to do with access to the diva.
Yeah. This poor
And
guy, you
not
can tell,
raising
yeah,
suspicion.
he like survived the explosion. He's had a bad day.
Oh, okay. So there's a fourth group, which is these guys.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah,
trying to get Corbin Dallas also.
Yeah, because you have the military, these guys, Zorg. Because Zorg is being manipulated by the military, but they're also working for the president, just trying to solve the problem. And then
Well, Zorg isn't being manipulated by the government.
no.
Zorg
He's manipulating the government, but the government also has its own agenda at the same time.
Yeah.
They're trying to because the president wants to solve the problem, and he's trying to kind of take the priest's advice but do it his own way, and the priest is doing his own thing, and yeah, it's just there's so many layers here. It's fun.
Yeah.
The priest would have been dead, by the way. He wrapped up. He would have absolutely suffocated by now.
I think that there's probably airflow in it because, kids and stuff.
That's true. Yeah, you'd want to put some safeguards in it.
Yeah.
Cornelius.
Like
Auto wash.
Auto wash.
Oh man.
And is there a third nude scene in here? Yeah,
Well, you
kinda.
don't see anything. Put a cup of coffee. Yes, please. No, it's a tiny bit back there.
Move your arm, Bruce Willis. I'm just kidding.
Sir, you are married.
I know. I'm just teasing.
Hey, like I said.
I love that he
Oh.
he does the little Catholic thing before he smacks him in the head. It's just great.
Yeah. Like I said, he's Obi-Wan Kenobi's shitty younger brother.
Right?
The
Do you think they
music
hired
right
him?
here.
Do you think they groomed him to make him look like Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Maybe. Like the mission. The music is so good right here.
Yeah, it's this weird kind of Stalinist Russia thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
my favorite part of the movie. Let's go.
Well, and I
Wow.
forget sometimes how late they introduced Chris Tucker's character, but it is.
Yeah.
I mean, technically they did kind of introduce him a little bit through the the advertisement. You hear his voice,
Mm-hmm.
but man, I found I find him such a weird mixture of genuinely annoying, but also his performance is amazing.
Yeah. No, his performance is fantastic in this thing.
David's in great shape. Like this guy couldn't fight himself out of a wet paper bag.
Right? He's just this little man. He reminds me weird of like not Casey Affleck, the other one. Tom
Paul Rudd?
Hanks's
Oh yeah, Tom
Little-
Hanks'
Oh.
son.
one who just won an Oscar. Colin Hanks. Colin Hanks? Something
Yeah,
like
that sounds right.
He's sweating, just like
yeah.
Oh, and she really is. She's just like a child. She's just like checking out everything, picks up everything, and
Yeah.
his hat, by the way. So I saw what is with Bruce Willis's jacket here? It's just so odd. The sleeves.
Well, look at the sleeves. They're
Well,
like
he's got
puffy
yeah,
and have pouches. It's like they were designed by Rob Liefeld.
yeah. Well, yeah. It's just oh man. So see, yeah, this guy, he looks very similar to the guy that was bagged. Well, yeah, no, because the guy that was bagged by the Ninja Turtles, they pulled him in from the cops.
The Ninja Turtles got the bag and opened him up. We just didn't see
I
it.
never connected
Yeah,
that.
they thought that
It's
was
the same
Corbin
guy.
Dallas. Yeah, yeah. Well, no, it wasn't the same guy, but they were impersonating him because they thought he was Corbin Dallas because the police picked him up as Corbin Dallas.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The multipass thing, another one of those things we were quoting all the time growing up. Even just the other day at Disneyland, they have these signs for the multipass, and we're like multipass to each other. And I heard 2 other people make the same joke.
Yep. I thought he was gonna. It's interesting. It's interesting. Also, the description of like I thought he was gonna kill me when Bruce Willis is obviously like just was like kid get out of here. Like never really. Interesting too that Bruce Willis doesn't actually like kill anybody till the big finale at the end, and that's when he finally kind of goes in the offensive, so to speak.
Yeah, unless he just killed those people in the freezer.
That is yeah. Well, the general pops back up.
I know.
This also this like attendant or whatever this like the lady taking the she's great.
Yeah, she's just so done, and she's like, okay.
She's like trying to hold it in.
He reminds me of Men in Black.
Yep.
Yeah.
Edgar, your skin is hanging off your bones.
A little bit. But she also, I don't know why this actress, I don't know who she is, but she always made me think of like Demi Moore for some reason.
I can see that. Bye.
Multipass. The cops show up and
Yeah. But this gun here is actually a real gun. It's not even like super sci-fi. I mean, it has that big cylinder on the top, but it's actually also just a really weird looking gun. It's this thing. It's called the Calico M960, and it's a sci-fi looking gun. Literally, all they did was add that weird cylinder, and it just ugly gun.
yeah. He wrote. Oh, the weird like, man, he does come across as just like the most deranged, like full of himself. I don't know. Just they really nail this persona.
Oh, dude, so
his
much.
hair too. Oh my
Like,
gosh.
And like he wanted to kind of make a future where you have this man who is obviously very intensely heterosexual, as it shows multiple times throughout, but his entire aesthetic is like a woman.
Yeah. Well, I mean, leopard print and his onesie he's wearing here is just like.
Just
his entourage. Is that Dave Chappelle back there?
What?
No
way.
It must not have been. It looked like him for a second. Sorry, it's not though. Obviously, because he was a big deal even in the late 90s.
Yeah.
He's so
okay.
Creepily
as a young man. I was weirdly attracted to this lady. I thought she was just like the prettiest person. And she's only in it for like a second, but I always remembered her.
Well, and this is such big stroke comedy they're doing here too. This is, big over the top. There's no subtlety to this comedy at all, but there's also a lot of nuance to it. You know what I mean? Like it's this weird combination of all the little details, but it's also big. And I don't know how, like, just how they do that. But then here,
do you know who they originally wanted for this role?
Oh, Prince. It was supposed to be Prince. I mean, it was written for him, right?
He wanted to be part of it, but he had this big tour going on.
Well, and this also could have been Jamie Foxx at some point too, right?
Yeah, they auditioned Jamie Foxx, but Besson, the director, didn't really like that as much.
What's the idea?
He thought that the skinnier, more like
yeah. Well, he's supposed to be Santos, just like falling over. But I know that there was also supposed to be kind of implied like almost gender fluidity, right? Here going on.
I don't know because they have him going after girls the whole time.
But he's
I don't
sense
like a gender fluidity from him.
I've heard that in so many different things that I feel like the director wanted at least the idea that maybe gender norms were just kind of the idea that
yeah. My understanding is that he was trying to challenge like that the future would change what's normal for people to be wearing, so that what would be seen as womanly today is perfectly fine for a male then. Yeah. I don't think that gender fluidity as a concept was nearly as big during this time. There, you had transsexuals, transgenderism around this time, homosexuality, but gender fluidity, they, them, pronoun stuff didn't become apparent until like the mid 2000s into especially the early 2010s.
Yeah, and I think
in fact, as a concept, I believe that the gender fluidity didn't have any type of major presence or definition until around 2003, I think.
Yeah, but the idea that like gender norms being very different in the future was part of the costume design and the way this is all portrayed. These flight attendants, though, it's like such a weird, like sexy but weird sexy, if that makes sense.
Futuristic.
It has
sexy.
that kind of almost. What was that, Pat?
It's futuristic sexy. That's what it is.
It has like a sexy maid thing to it, where it's almost like it's a gimmick of the company that we got the hot flight attendants dress. Yeah.
She is aware of who she is,
Yeah. I like that wasn't a thing. That she's not like, I don't understand anything that's going on. She's like, bro, I got it.
Well, it makes sense that she would be able to learn quickly. And I like the idea that, that's what she was doing basically, is like catching up on history and learning language. Also, I love the whole, the nuclear core very casually just being swapped out here when they do all the...
By somebody who's very obviously high as a kite.
Yeah. And the flamethrowers and just, I don't know, this is so just like, whatever. I remember as a teenage boy, though, going to this part like, whoa.
I did not understand what was going on until much later in my life.
I would hope not, Zach. You were what, 8?
Oh, 97? You were
the
like
first time
6.
I saw this, I think I was like 10.
Yeah.
And I would have been 7? Yeah,
it's
6
like
years old.
Jamaican guy going here, just like, give me the nuclear core, man. It's just... Like, it just sets it on the ground. Like,
another day at the office.
Oh, man.
And these parasites. Like, I want to know more about these things. Just this random world building. Like, what's the point of this?
I feel like this is like
weird movie,
Doc,
man.
Like, this is like Doc Holliday changing out
smoking while you near a nuclear core.
Yeah.
Like the editing here, though, like the slamming home of the reactor going into that reactor. It's just like it's really good in a way.
It is. That flip up right there. Oh my gosh, there's so many sexual undertones going in this scene, and it's just funny.
So many.
Oh. Are you making just? Again, who did Luke Besson edit this himself? I'm sure he worked with an editor, but like he had to have been involved in the editing pretty heavily,
right? And they're also doing so much for the character of Ruby Rod in this moment, which is like, I've never felt this way before with a human. I swear, and that he's just full of crap.
He's just lying, saying what he. Maybe Brawl's even worse in the future. There's even more hooks. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. I always
the feet. Oh my gosh. It's just like there's so much. It's almost like not even sure what to like point out because there's so much happening in this scene.
Yeah,
altogether.
it cuts
understand the
all over the place,
explosion.
dude.
Yeah.
It's so
Disappointing.
There's a
organized chaos, you know.
Oh yeah.
like, oh no.
The explosion. The
Other
man.
explosion.
Many explosions. It's like the guy likes the feet back down. Oh man, and the sound effects of the landing gear at the same time. It's just it's comedy gold.
It is.
Oh goodness. Welcome to New
I am
York.
every day.
Yeah, I noticed
every single time I watch this movie, I'm shocked my parents let me watch it.
Yeah. That wide shot of New York though too, even though it's like super quick. It's interesting, like the Statue of Liberty is like built way up, like on a massive pedestal, you know, and you just the idea of the city just kept growing up essentially.
Was the World Trade Center still in there?
I'd have to go back and pause it. I would assume so.
Well, weirdly large amount of future things were lacking those, including a Muppets movie, which I think implies that the Muppets somehow, like it's canon that the Muppets somehow prevented 9/11 in their universe.
Mr. Shadow.
Like, what do you think of this whole thing? This was a little strange to me, even when I was a kid.
Well, the connection here that and yeah, the blood kind of starts to come down a little bit. Yeah, I almost wonder if this is kind of leftover. If there was, I'd be curious if more of this particular thread between Zorg and Mr. Shadow was in the film and then just made it, just didn't make it out of the editing room apparently. Or I'm not. I have no idea, but I would assume there's more to this in the original script because this is it's kind of out of nowhere and it's never really explained. But this would to me be in the category of the few little quibbles I have with this film.
I think it was mostly just like to show that this is a sentient and it's like Zorg isn't just doing this. Like, how did Zorg get the information about these stones? How does he know about them? Yeah. He's been in contact with this big baddie, right?
Yeah,
but
I think
look at that. It's chocolate syrup.
It is chocolate. Yeah, and I don't mind it. I just mean like in the context of what they give you, it's just very minimal.
Mm.
And like that's what I mean. Like when I say quibble, I mean it like as a quibble. It's not some big issue. It's just a little like, I wish they had. Yeah, like where did it come from? Like it's just bleeding out of his head randomly. Like that's like just his voice alone is that much power.
I think that is the thing because the other guy, the influence of this evil is so evil that he is that it's able to make him just spontaneously start bleeding.
Yep. Lost in Paradise.
Lost in Paradise. I love the design of this ship.
Oh yeah, it really does seem like a space yacht. Yeah, you can tell there some of the limitations of the effects of the era. So I mean, it still looks good though. It's so visually distinctive.
Mm-hmm. I want that little automatic going to bed thing, right? Just hit that button and you pass out. Please,
oh man, that'd be great.
The Fiesta deck.
Oh yeah.
You still have those middle-aged men with floppy hats, apparently. It's universal.
Yeah, so I mean, the thing is interesting that they kind of imply like this is a really high-end place to go to, like winning tickets to this place is a big deal. Yet at the same time, there's like, is this supposed to be an exclusive, like only the ultra-rich get to go here? But it seems like there's a lot of just kind of regular middle-aged people going here too, or middle class. I mean.
I don't know. I think it's supposed to be like almost if you got an exclusive to the icon of this, but I think the big thing is like being involved in and getting to see the Diva Pava Laguna.
Yeah.
Like it's not necessarily that everything about it is exclusive, but there is an exclusivity to what you get to enjoy while you're there.
There's a lot of wires he came down with. This room is nuts. Like, again, the design of this place.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much detail to this whole resort. I love the idea too that like everybody else like apparently just loves Ruby Rod. Like I think the audience is like, I don't get it, but in universe it's so universally like loved and appreciated that it just
right?
sells
Is he
his
supposed
character.
to be like? Is he supposed to be a cross between like Taylor Swift and Joe Rogan?
That's it. Wow. Now I'm trying to imagine that the hybrid human being. His mom.
How did you get a hold of him?
Oh.
I never should have pushed you out.
Such the rug of like some weird creature down there. It looks like from a Pixar film that was made into a rug.
Oh, it looks like Sully.
Yeah, a little bit.
Here we get the first glimpse of the diva Pava Laguna.
This guy I always
Personal
liked
favorite of
too. The actor who plays like this like sailor or whatever. Just he's so like delightfully nervous.
Oh yeah, no, this is the guy that I was referencing. He's only in a few scenes. He's a British comedian. I remember him from this comedy movie with from the mid '90s called Mouse Hunt, where he was actually one of the stars. It was kind of an odd couple thing. It was two brothers. I think his name like Lars, but it was Nathan Lane and Christopher Walken and this guy. As well as some other actors that you'd probably recognize, just kind of as little bit part actors. But this is a small little role when this guy was literally headlining other movies. He was a major British comedian. His name's Lee Evans. But if you guys haven't seen Mouse Hunt, it is a bizarre movie and you should go see it.
Okay, so the opera singer somehow is like in on the like with like she knows about the stones and has a connection to the aliens that were coming in from the beginning, I guess, or
yes, she is attached to them somehow. I think that there is supposed to be a certain amount of mysticism to her character in that way.
His outfit here, like the tuxedo with the roses around the front.
Right? It's almost like a peacoat.
Yeah. He's a thin guy. And the fact his hair has changed color and style so dramatically also. That you can just like change it so easily. It's one of the
This was filmed at the London Opera House.
Yeah. More sinisters than ministers. This guy too, like some like implied like that celebrity he just pointed out. This guy here, he's like,
supposed to be like a sports star.
Yeah. Laser ball.
Okay, I didn't know this was a sex joke until way later in life.
Yeah. It's like playing that for everybody. Oh my gosh. I love how fully committed Bruce Willis is to just being annoyed by this guy also.
Right? Oh man, I freaking love Ruby Rod.
Oh gosh.
Oh, I should do a D&D character based on Ruby Rod. Definitely a bard.
Well, it's got to be a bard.
Okay, was the whole bzz thing, was that Chris Tucker's creation, do you know, or was that actually Luke Besson's creation?
I do not know that, but I would bet that it was Chris Tucker's.
Because he definitely is kind of a manic comedic talent. I mean, his whole comedy style is just that kind of over the top manic style. Yeah. This sequence, I mean, this is such
he's
a famous
really
sequence.
Interesting guy in real life. I almost feel like we need to just stay silent through this because it's so stinking good. But that is kind of a dick move to the listeners. But God,
but it's okay.
I genuinely put this in like one top 5, top 10 best moments in any. It is so stinking cool.
It is really good. Now, in one of I'm guessing we watched some of the same behind the scenes. That I saw that Bruce Willis's reaction is pretty genuine to this because he hadn't heard it before filming this.
Mm-hmm.
So
he also hadn't seen the actress in the makeup, and this was an intense piece of makeup, and they did a rendition of it, not the exact performance, because the performance is essentially taking this incredibly talented woman as she's doing all different vocal sounds and then splicing it together in certain places.
Yeah.
Because there's certain note changes that are impossible for the human voice.
Yeah. But the opera singer who's performing this is not the actress we see in front of us. That's an actress, correct?
No, that is not. So this is Diva Pavlaguna. She's physically played by a woman by the name of Mai Wen, which is a French actress who at the time was actually married to Luc Besson. And they weren't supposed to, it wasn't supposed to be her, but the other actress that they had, something happened and she couldn't do it anymore. Very last minute. So it's a mononym, Mai Wen. She's apparently a big actress in France and a well-known French personality. And she looks great.
Yeah.
But the voice is done by someone else. I'm trying to remember. A soprano, Inva Mula, and she dubs the voice of the diva. And yeah, a number of the notes were impossible for a human being to achieve, but there were some that were supposed to be impossible for someone to achieve. And she did it. Which is just super cool.
So, okay, is Lulu basically just waiting outside the door? And that's why she was just like waiting for the performance to be over. She was told like after the performance, I'll be back. So she's just been literally standing there around the corner the entire time.
She's incredibly anxious. This is her entire purpose. The reason for her being. She wants to get there, you know? And she sees this and she's overwhelmed because she's
well, because she was
her entire purpose being threatened.
Well, and she was on the ship, right? When it crashed. That's why that was her hand in the glove thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's got some Batista.
I do
Sorry,
love
some PTSD. My wife and I call it Batista.
I love that the aliens. I want to keep calling them the Ninja Turtles now. That they basically are about to make the exact same mistake again, of just like grabbing a case. I got it, and not even like check it like they did the first time.
Right?
It's like
no, it's exactly.
They're so stupid. Just like it's
there's a there's a woman who did her absolute best to recreate the Pavlaguna opera here. And she actually got really close. Like incredibly close. Her name's Jane Zhang. She's a Chinese opera singer. And she genuinely pushed the envelope on what a human voice achieved trying to copy this.
Yeah.
So fun fact, you ready?
Yes.
I've been in a dance show where this song was used for like a sci-fi type of theme.
Oh, hell yeah. I love it. It's so good.
That is really good.
How was that dance show, Pat?
It was all right.
Well, you're incredibly talented, so I have no doubt that it was great.
Again, though, too, I've always enjoyed an action scene put to like just something really pretty. And the idea of having this action set piece, which is her only big one, you know, set to the song is just a great way to, I love this guy's just standing here behind her. Anyways, it works because there is something about action to like really beautiful music that is just cinematic and cool.
Totally agree. I love it. Love it to death. I genuinely think that this movie, and especially this moment, the music and the movement there, all of it, greatly influenced what I enjoy in movies and science fiction. Like, I love
it. Then we at the escalation here. We're gonna take the ship and oh man.
Like, he does come face to face with her and with the priest.
Yeah,
so there's that.
Yeah, it's just Corbin, and I mean they barely miss each other after this whole action set piece. But this is like, by the way, that's the really way to do it. You know, just throw something to the guy that gives a human reaction is to try to catch it.
Yeah, it's kind of like handing somebody something while you're talking. Have you ever done that?
I don't think I've ever done like intentionally to try to like mess with them or whatever, or just
It's a really funny experiment. Talk to somebody, make sure that it's like 10, 15 seconds long, and then just hand them something, and they'll like unconsciously just take the item.
I believe it.
Really funny. I would steal things from my mom, like her cell phone, and then I would talk to my sister, and then just hand it to her, and then my mom would go, "Where's my phone?" And Jenna would just look down and be like, "What?" It was a great time.
This was definitely like I remember feeling bad, like that they just after that amazing performance, they just killed the opera singer.
Right? It really helps you feel like bad for him, though.
Yeah.
Just so I like the sci-fi-ish sound of the gun because it like it's not like Firefly where they just make it sound almost like weird lasers. It has this kind of cycling sound that I think works for the whole thing because I'm really weird. They bother me a lot.
Well, yeah, especially if you're firing bullets, and they in the intro to the scene they kind of establish that it is firing some kind of physical round. To try to make it sound futuristic, but also like an identifiable gun. Guys, like got a
it grounds it a little bit.
Yeah, man, it
looks like blaster fire or phaser fire. Like sci-fi sounds great, but no actual bullet. Make it fire a bullet.
Yeah. The sheer amount of costumes on Lost in Paradise.
Right. I'm telling you, George Lucas had to have watched this thing and gone, "Man, this Luke Besson guy."
that this is the best intelligence that the government's also getting us to like listen to his show.
Right. And they stink. Bangalore's such space racists.
Oh man. So was she like a kangaroo or something? Did she just have like a void in her anatomy that these things were hidden in?
Beats me. I mean, I would guess that she's some sort of like, she's something they've been gearing up for. She's some sort of special being. Maybe she's even genetically do this because they've been waiting 2,000 years for this. 5,000 years. The original. Go for it.
I was just say I enjoy that. Also, there's that little bit of she provides a little bit of context for him that does later on. I think it helps it not come out of left field that his kind of love for her was a kind of what like basically saves the day at the end. That this scene gives that some level of context and information for him.
Yeah.
Just this, the fact that this happens again. His reaction is so good. It's so good. Oh gosh.
It's another one of those moments where they're delivering information tangentially between each other. That works so well.
Well, through cutting, through the cuts between the different scenes, they're basically figuring it all out together, even though they're not physically together.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. It reminds me of like, I'm not a big sitcom fan, but certain sitcoms or episodes will have the misunderstood, and everybody's learning very differently, separately, and then everything comes together into like a giant.
Yeah. I love
that.
Oh man, it don't feel right. Oh man, just again, like Chris Tucker sells is so good. Just like the shaking he's got, and the whole like, man, this was always just like, a little bit to me.
Manic, the panic. I always remember the blood on the side of the face, the kind of turquoise blood.
Yeah, I got a headache. Oh man,
imagine being like this pampered, prissy person like that, and then being thrust into like a literal war.
Yeah.
This
though, I love this so much because when he shoots him, and then he like, he's gonna be okay. He's gonna be okay. He like apologizing to the guy. Oh gosh,
moron.
That's so good.
So one of the original plots for this, like when he was a teenager, the whole idea was that you had a guy who won this cruise sudden and ends up meeting a woman who's 3,000 years old, even though she was a teenager.
This is such a great action pairing, though. I mean, this was like because you would expect, I think, Lilu and Corbin Dallas to be paired up for an action scene, and to give him Chris Tucker's character is so good because this is the one big action scene Bruce Willis gets. I mean, the chase in New York, but like this is where the classic give him a gun, and a shootout, and it's really
it's kind of weird to think about this movie that way because you realize that it's an act like heavy on action.
Well, it's not overwhelmingly so. Like, it's like there's the big chase scene, and there's the little beats. There's the little beat in the airport. There's just, but it's for the most part the action is more just comedy. Like it's like you said, it's like half sitcom, half action film.
Yeah. This right here is a very heavily modified Browning 1919.
Just this right here. Oh man!
But this is another one of those things where you have this. Yeah, you have another one of those things where you have this guy he's supposed to be a sports star, right? And he's like big, he's important, all these women are hanging off of him, but he's dressed like a bride, and so it is supposed to be challenging those gender norms.
Yeah.
Which is something that we have seen. A lot of clothes that would have once been considered very man adjacent are now, or woman adjacent, are now considered regular men's fashion. It's really fascinating, the history of fashion. I like fashion.
Thanks, Ray.
He's bluffing.
Oh man. The like goggles they all have on too.
Yeah, I mean goggles in war. Maybe they're used to low light conditions.
Yeah. The contest.
I could easily see that.
What
do you suppose Gemini croquette is?
I don't know. This
like.
I think he's trying to signal me. Tell me something. Oh man, the old seesaw move. Just it physically speaking, it doesn't make any sense, but it's good comedy.
It is. Like I that is actually something that even as a kid I was just like, that's weird. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But it is funny. It's good.
Oh, it's fun.
All good in the hood.
Oh man.
The perfectly round hole also,
Yeah. And this has been done in a couple different movies, but it's always fun. Just the grenade, like with like the weird like plastic spikes, which is interesting.
There's some sort of futuristic polymer, Brian.
I know. His scream, and Chris Tucker really can scream like a girl.
Fantastic. Chris Tucker, I salute your crazy screaming.
There's also
like some even worse here in a second.
Oh yeah. This is some really well made furniture, by the way. It's very bullet resistant.
Well, I mean, it's all for the rich people, right?
Yeah, you're right. He's so good. They really blow the crap out of this place. That scream right there. That he hits a pitch.
I love that
there.
It's all practical explosions too.
Yeah, you can tell it's not a CG explosion. He keeps screaming.
I'm like, is that his actual scream?
I actually have no problem believing Chris Tucker can actually scream that way in real life.
I love Chris Tucker. He's pretty great.
Yeah. See, my memory of him was the first Rush Hour, and then this.
No, this was pretty much my only. I remember interviews with him during like the Michael Jackson trials and stuff like that, and he was very he stood by Michael Jackson all the way until the end.
Yeah. This guy again
as being
so funny,
upstanding, disturbed man.
I mean, this was like a trailer. I remember this being in like every trailer for this movie, but it's such a great moment. And again, this guy is so funny.
Yeah, like I said, he was leading his own movie right there alongside Nathan Lane. He's got chops. I don't know why he's in such a small movie, but yeah.
That's the leader.
Negotiate. Like, they don't seem like the negotiation types, you know?
I mean, the only thing I can think of is that they kind of feel cornered, so that they kind of don't have a choice. That is, that line.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh no. Classic.
And then cutting to the president right here, and just like, I wonder, just the military guy, like, we don't talk about it. Just again, there's so much implied history here that this movie for one film does a tremendous amount of world building.
Yeah, and they're all just like, "Oh, you're so brave."
What's wrong with you?
My mom quotes that all the time. Anytime I do something stupid, which, if you know my mother, it's really weird coming out of her mouth.
I can picture your mom doing that.
Yeah.
We're trying to save the world.
Yeah, it's funny. It was pointed out that Leela is actually very passive. She's like a passenger through most of it, you know?
Yeah, the only time where she really has agency is in that one fight she has during the opera scene.
Yeah, because now she's injured, right? So she can't do much.
Yeah, and
But
not agency, but
right?
that she's just kind of along for the ride. Yeah.
Yeah.
And not actively trying to like achieve something, whereas like Corbin is like action, then slows down because it's time to slow down, then it's time to speed up, where she's just kind of, like you guys said, just kind of a passenger, an accessory.
Yeah, I do love this,
but she's still like, yeah,
it's just
I love the little music. It's like the musical cues in this movie are so counterintuitive to what we expect from movies, but they fit so stinking well.
Oh yeah, the timing, just everything. Everybody out. This is one of those movies that, like, at this point, I anticipate all the great moments. Like, it's one of those films that knowing it really well makes it better because you're just looking forward to all the moments.
Yeah. Like, imagine filming just this chaos, because they had to film that before the final action sequence because they blew up that set. It's supposed to be a different set now. It's supposed to be a different place on the ship. But the very last scene would have been them blowing it up with the gasoline explosion.
I also appreciate the fact that right there, like Corbin, he has no idea how to do it. He's like, nope, don't know. Like, they just showed him as so competent, but he's like, in that scenario, he's like, nope, we're just running.
Yeah.
And they also very unceremoniously, kill him here, kill Zorg. It's just like they barely miss each other. They steal his ship. And,
yeah,
and like, nope,
they're in the same exact scene.
Yeah.
Like, nice. I like these lifeboats and the way that it's set up. I think that it's a good look. I like the lights on.
Yep, there they are.
There's just, that's the only scene they're in together. And he even, like, looks at it for a second and he's like, where's that?
Yeah. And then he takes his ship too, which I love.
Yeah.
Because he like, like, yep, this is the one to take.
It's an interesting design for a ship too. I like it when ships don't kind of conform to norms. Like, as much as I love the Rocinante,
it looks very practical.
But it's a very practical ship.
In that universe, though, it makes sense. But yeah, it's not very interesting.
Yeah. But I think that's one of the reasons why stuff like the Millennium Falcon and the Enterprise stand out, because they're not that kind of classic military ship design.
Yeah.
Like, the Galactica from Battlestar Galactica is cool, but it's not super interesting. But at the same time, stuff like the Milano from Guardians of the Galaxy is a really cool looking ship.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I wish that we had seen more of it in those movies, because I think it's just freaking great.
Yeah. This was such a great little, just like, nope. Yeah. It's like an egg timer.
No, it's not an egg timer.
It was better than that. It looked like a combination lock,
a combination lock, you're right, yeah.
No, it looked like a master lock.
It was a master lock with a light, switch glued onto it. Like a light dial. Like one of those things you click, but a big one.
Aw, Floss in Paradise is
powerful, explosive. Just imagine having to film that as Bruce Willis. We're gonna have an orange light in your face and shake the camera while you look constipated.
Yeah. Like driving a cab. I do love this too. The best show I ever did.
Time for the news. Best show.
His eyes, man, Chris Tucker's eyes are so. They stand out so much.
Oh yeah. Well, that's one of the things. Like you even see here with this guy. That's one of the things about like just black people in general, but especially black actors. Their eyes show so much because of the juxtaposition between the white and the darker skin.
Yeah. But like I think with Chris Tucker,
I really envy about them in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I feel like Chris Tucker has even smaller pupils than the average or whatever, because like there's the proportion of white compared to the his pupils.
Oh yeah, he's got big eyes.
He's got big eyes. There definitely is a little bit of commentary in here, which is, to be fair, it's accurate that human beings are not exactly a peaceful species.
What are you talking about? I'm incredibly peaceful. You take that back. I'm going to find you and I'm going to beat you to death.
I appreciate the point.
But it's interesting. That's one of those sci-fi concepts of like, are we even worth saving?
Yeah.
Like, why do we fight to save ourselves? Why do we fight to save each other? Would everything be better off if humanity just went extinct?
Of course, there's the one guy with bad news that's like, you're all celebrating. I don't want to tell you. Oh, goodness.
Yeah. This is, I don't know. Do you remember this guy in The Dark Knight?
Not really.
No? You don't remember this guy in The Dark Knight? Great role. Small role. He, the president I'm talking about.
Yeah. Who do you play? I mean, honestly, I haven't watched it in a couple of years, and I'm having trouble remembering him in it.
When the Joker is threatening the fairies at the end.
Oh, he's the prisoner.
He's the prisoner.
That he's the one that basically like takes the detonator and then throws out the window or whatever to like say I'm gonna take the choice away from you.
Because the military.
I remember that.
Yeah, the police guy thinks that he's going to use it to kill the civilians, and if he gives it to that guy, I can make the choice that you can't, type of thing. And it shows that he's actually like he's a reformed criminal. He's willing to die in order to save the others. Mm. And yeah, great, very memorable little role for me. Partially because of this movie, but also just like, man, heavy acting, really good.
Yeah, I mean that scene was like he definitely helped that scene elevate a lot. Because I mean that's actually one of the things in that film that I found. I don't know, but he elevated that quite a bit.
But yeah, just intimidating looking man, and that eye injury.
Yeah,
like it gives him so much character. My wife is very squeamish about eye injuries. She just has a huge fear of it, and so even seeing eye injuries or people with the eye are uncomfortable. It just freaks her out a little bit. She doesn't like when I go cross-eyed. But I remember watching this with her, and she was like, "I don't like looking at him. Scary. Makes her eye hurt." Yeah, typing in war is
yeah, I'm gonna say
not recommended for those who want to like humanity.
Yeah, So, what do you think of just this whole conclusion, though? This kind of the. It's funny. Again, I just watched The Matrix recently, and kind of the scene of like, I love you, and that is the key to the whole thing.
I am not a big fan of the power of love being the answer in a lot of, especially science fiction. It can work in some things. In this particular thing, I like it better than many. It's not my favorite. Yeah. It's a little on the nose in terms of like dialogue and the way that it goes about it. Yeah. But at the same time, it also does make sense thematically. It's the thing that sets human beings apart everything else. It's the goodest part of us, and thus the reason why we're saving, I guess.
Yeah, and I also think that you can't. Human beings are, there's the famous Stalin quote, right? When you kill one, it's a tragedy, and 10 million is statistic or whatever, 1 million. That our relationships are the thing that give us the actual will to like try, because we can't think on the scale of the entire species. Like, we're just not capable of it, and not really caring. You have to boil it down to something smaller in order for somebody to be motivated enough to really try. So there's something in there, I feel like, that is like a genuine part of humanity that's worth incorporating in science fiction. But it is interesting because this movie is so kind of goofy and fun. It's got a lot of heart, but then all of a sudden they kind of go for this ending that's I like it, but it is interesting that they chose to go for this as the solution, given the tone we've had so far.
Yeah, it's a little cheeseball, but it's not. I think part of it's budget. I think that I genuinely think the climax of the movie is one of the areas in which they cut it down and achieve a workable budget. But at the same time, I love a good action sequence as a finale, but there is something about the non-violent climax to a film that is very. I don't know. I think it works because it's rare.
Yeah. Well, it is. It's the thing is, I think with big action scenes, even some of my favorite movies struggle with this. That big action scenes, to get beyond just fighting a lot of generic, same-looking enemies into something that's more interesting than that. And this one, I do like the idea of the elements. I mean, we're getting into like they're bringing a bunch of different sci-fi things in here. The whole earth, wind, fire. Water.
Yeah. And the avatar of all four elements. Different thing. Different thing.
I love that too, that they're like carrying around like fluorescent light bulbs with them. Like light tubes.
I mean, if fluorescence weren't just so awful and horrible, that'd be like a pretty great way of doing it.
Yeah.
I hate fluorescent lights with a burning passion. Wind blows.
Very fancy.
Mm-hmm.
They set up. I mean, it comes here in a second, but they set up the match thing like an hour ago in this movie, and it's little details that they could have totally overlooked. But I love the wiping the sweat off his brow to bring it out here. It's just a great little.
I mean, he couldn't just spit on it or pee on it.
Now I want to see the version where he pees on it. It's such a great, because this would be like the hardest thing to just produce all of a sudden, like out of scratch.
Yeah, but he's like,
I always, even as a kid though,
smoking.
Even as a kid here though, I always thought, why would you light the match so far away from it? Like, light it right there on it so that there's no chance of it blowing out. Like I was a kid, I was like, why would you do it this way? Even though it's very dramatic and it makes sense. You're trying to create tension, right?
I love the subtitles that said "Tiny Whimper." It was from Chris Rock.
1 minute. What's wrong?
Yeah.
It's time for you to work now.
Oh yeah, because you didn't do that earlier, did you? Jerk.
Yeah, they basically are carrying lightsabers. Sorry.
Right?
Are you very tired? I'll take you on vacation. I love that he promises her a vacation. Oh gosh.
Did you know that Corbin Dallas's original name in the original script was Zaltman Bleros?
Oh my gosh.
Yuck.
I'm not. Yeah. Even outside of America, I think people would have been like, "What?"
Right. Yeah, this is. The fifth element is a representation of life, love, and art and human spirit.
Yeah.
Essentially, she is supposed to be life, and the source of life is love.
I mean, there's some real philosophy there. It's not just out of nowhere, but it is hard to do that and not have it be cheesy. And I don't think this movie does it poorly, but it also is like you said. I do wonder if this was what they really wanted to do, or if it's what they kind of had to do. Because
the guy says 1 minute, and it actually takes 1 minute and 49 seconds.
Oh my gosh, get out of here, Mr. Internet. Actually,
No. Well, earlier in the film, when he said 20 seconds, it took him exactly 20 seconds.
but this time it took him 1 minute and 45 seconds.
49.
My bad.
very like somber music here.
Yeah. It is one heck of a soundtrack like that. I always kind of liked how they looked here. When I was little, they reminded me of popsicles, and they made me hungry. The Stones.
So did Earth get like a new moon here?
I think
That's what what became the Traveler from Destiny. That's how the Traveler started.
They show it here in a second, right? And it's just like hovering over Earth, like just stationary.
Yeah. Maybe that's what killed the dinosaurs. The first evil. You think, they go mining into that thing. What do you think they'd find?
I don't know, some black pus.
Thermal straps. A multi-pass, obviously.
Gooey center.
This general, just like
he laughs like my dad.
What's wrong with you? It's great. Oh, it's so good. It's a great.
That's
ending.
the last you see of Ruby Road too.
Yeah, but it's a great way to just wrap it up.
Nucleo Labs. Yeah.
Oh man, I always thought that this was a very '90s ending to like end with like
so
the
90s.
Yeah, and then like kick into like again just kind of a generic like pop rock song at the end here.
I believe that generic pop rock song was like specially made for it.
Well,
like,
and it might be, but it sounds very '90s pop. Like it sounds it could have been a Prince song or something.
Right?
Of course they're doing it. His hands. It's great. Man.
Yeah, 20 seconds.
The mom.
They just kind of wrap that up.
And the look on his face here though when he like starts pulling the phone away and just like and he hands it back and just that's great.
Right? Like imagine today, right? Somebody saves the world, getting a visit from the president, it's Trump, and phone's ringing and it's their mother, and he was like, "Hello, Mrs. Dallas, your husband is the great hero." She's like, "You don't sound like that." Like, I don't know. I love thinking about that. Every time I've seen this movie, I think about if a modern president was doing that.
Yeah.
I forget that it's on a freeze frame.
Yeah. Oh, like I said, its movie is so 90s. Okay.
Well, and
so it's meant to be. You know what the next up movie for me is? Big Trouble in Little China,
mine
and that's
too.
on our list this year. Oh yeah,
that was mine also. That's great.
I've never seen it.
Yes,
I'm so looking forward to doing that with you, Zach.
I can't wait, Zach.
Like
I'm so excited.
Should I go into it raw?
No.
Yes.
I kind of. I want him to have stuff to say about it, but I think that you should
find something to say about anything.
I know, but I think that you should wait until like 2 days before, so it's really fresh.
Yeah.
Like watch it like on Wednesday, and then record with us on Friday, and it'll be good. Oh, that movie's amazing. But yeah, so this movie is so 90s. It's cheesy, it's funny, but it's got heart, and it's just I love it. This is one of the best one-off sci-fis ever made. I really think that.
Oh, I agree. Oh, you know what? It did go incredibly over budget, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Have fun.
Because it made like 200 and something worldwide, right?
Oh, dude, yeah. I believe. Let me confirm. I was gonna pull up that information, and I think I put it down here somewhere. So it was made for approximately $90 million, with some over budget, but apparently only by a couple million. and it made just shy of 300 million.
No. So, I mean, not like
and
some
they didn't
kind of
have the same type of advertising budgets back then either.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it wasn't some kind of like insane hit, but it definitely was a hit. And this movie did very well, I think, on physical media also, didn't it? Like,
incredibly well. I think that it made somewhere around 200 million off of physical media because of its cult classic. It still makes money today.
Yeah. I bought
one
this
of the
movie,
things
I think,
about
4
it
times.
is, because when they did the Blu-ray transition, they didn't do it very well, and there were all kinds of complaints. And Sony actually re-released it with this incredibly master. But this thing, I mean, they had it on DVD. They had DVD edition. They had Super Bit DVD. 2 different VHS versions. Like, this thing has gotten re-released and re-released, and people buy it.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, like I said, I owned this movie on VHS. I owned it on. I bought it on DVD, the very first edition, and then when they came out with the 2-disc special edition with all the behind the scenes stuff, I bought it again, and I now own it on Blu-ray also. So yeah, I've bought this movie 4 times, and then I had to rent it again for this because I don't have a digital copy of it that I own. Oh
right?
Gosh.
So it's funny. We were talking about the costumes, right? The costume designer, a guy by the name of Gaulier, he designed over 900 costumes and checked every single costume personally and described it as intellectually transgressive and was said to challenge sexuality and gender norms. He said that one of the jackets was over $5,000. He loved the look of it so much he needed to have it in the Transgressive, by the way, in this area is a transgressive art, which is like aimed to cause outrage or visceral reaction, and make somebody think about it.
I mean, I think that he succeeded. I mean, you notice it. I mean, even though, and so many of them are, on screen so briefly, but they do definitely stand out and make you notice the. A few individual things, obviously, like Rudy's clothing and that, but at the same time, the collective whole is very obvious. Just in the when you're in New York, when you're on Lost in Paradise, when you're all those. That's a short.
The name of
the
name of Ruby Rhod was specifically chosen because Ruby, even though it's R-U-B-I in this, is like Ruby the girl's name, and then Rod being an incredibly phallic name in order to represent
100%,
kind of in-between nature.
Well, that was his hair when you first meet him. He just got it right there in the front.
It looked like anime hair.
It really did. Oh man, no, this is a fun one.
Patrick, at what age
sir.
would you allow your daughter to watch this?
40. I'm just kidding. 16.
16. Okay.
We're also very
discerning.
What's the word? We're very protective over what she watches. So, granted, she's 6 now. That's 10 years. A lot can change, right? So, potential. Yeah, I mean, really, it's.
I think
the maturity of the child. That's good.
Yeah,
it's the maturity of the child. That's how I look at it, right? If
I think you have to be a little bit older though to understand like why this movie is so good, because there's just I think if you're young enough, you just see this kind of goofy and silly.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be a little bit older, I think, to understand that yes, it's goofy and silly, but there's also more there.
Yeah, but also like with the presence of nudity and stuff like that, I imagine like maybe you'd show it to a girl sooner than you would like a boy. I was thinking like, if I had a son, like what age would I show him this? Because I love this movie, I would want to show it to my kids, but when would I change that based on if I had a boy or a girl? Yada yada yada.
I don't know about you, Brian, but I know for me, my nostalgia glasses are a little busted. In that, there's movies that I treasure. Spawn, for example, that are a dumpster fire. but the nostalgia classics are so heavy that it's somehow enjoyable to me.
Yeah.
I would never sit down and watch it with my family ever.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well,
Deadpool, I'm never watching that with my family. There's no need to.
Yeah.
I guess kind of where I go is like, so like for example, like Fifth Element, like, yeah, maybe we'd watch it as a family, but like, this isn't a make or break to me in terms of what I share with my daughter, right? Like, this is a great movie. I will hold it dear in my heart, but it's not something where I'm like, okay, I got to show you this for your well-being. I'll tell you what though, if there are sequels or prequels or the continuations of this franchise at some point, this gets on the list, right? But for now, it's kind of a one and done.
Yeah. So,
but I'll hold that up
like
to Firefly. Firefly is similar but different, and I'll tell you why. Firefly was a TV show. It's a little cleaner, a little less kind of out there. That I would watch with kiddo when she's, a little bit older.
The only thing with that though, I wonder. I mean, because I agree, and I love that show, but there is definitely with Nora specifically, definitely a lot of sexual undertones in several episodes.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I was
not just Nora, but also Kaylee.
Yeah, Kaylee.
Friggin' Jewel Straight. What the heck?
Jewel Straight.
But
she always plays low key sexual characters.
Oh yeah. See, to me, this was one of those films that I want to say Connor was. He was definitely 16. He might have been 17. I forget. This was kind of in that like mid high school era, because I went through a because I also had the the different situation of my kids coming to visit me on weekends. So we had weekends where they were coming, and you had
no idea what they were watching at mom's house, right?
Well, I actually did. And basically, the standards were different, a little bit,
of course.
Anyways, they were different, but it became a thing too of like
okay.
for 2 or 3 years, it was all right. Dad's kind of just taking us through films that are important to him, so we would go through films, and I was just going through films that I thought were important, and specifically genre films. And so this was one that once the kids were all kind of mid high school or later, that I was like,
for sure.
This is a great one. Like I said, none of like my kids know the quotes. Connor definitely enjoyed it, but he would probably not put it on his own. So like none of my kids latched onto this film, but I still to me,
but you did your due diligence and had them watch it. Right?
Well, because a lot of it was I wanted to share with them influential films to me and my love of the genre.
Of course,
and this is one of those films that I couldn't leave off. I mean, because this is one of the most important non-franchise films in the genre for me. So it was a big deal for me to show them this one. And and they definitely, like I said, they enjoyed it, and I was content with that. And they understand the reference when we quote it. And so it just,
you see, that's the thing for me. If I have a kid, then I'm gonna need to show them this so they understand how Grandma says.
yeah.
Why does Aunt Jenna buzz at you?
Yeah. So it's fun, and I also I think that it's a contrast. Like we mentioned this very briefly at the end of our podcast last week when we did Arrival. Sci-fi is such a great place to kind of have multiple types of films, and I feel like this Arrival is such an amazing sci-fi film. It's so good. Like I thought, I just kept thinking about that even after we finished, finished recording. Just how moving and powerful, and just that movie is a piece of work. It is like a piece of art. And this movie is just as amazing, but it is like on the other end of the spectrum.
It's different
for what sci-fi is. And I love that sci-fi can have both of those, and they both can fully belong to the genre and both be loved. And
right,
that's like, yeah, this movie's a wonderful example of that to me.
To me, it's like the difference between a ballet and like a rugby match.
Break dancing.
Right.
It's just like you think about athletes at the pinnacle and just doing these amazing things that you never could, and it takes so much skill and all this stuff. But it's just like, one of them's popcorn and fun and thrills, and the other one is just like, how were they able to do this?
Yeah.
And just like beauty and elegance, and Yeah. So true of sci-fi, because for every Fifth Element, there's an Adventures of Pluto Nash, and for every Arrival, there's a 2001 Space Odyssey, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's such a weird genre. I love it.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
Well, we should wrap up. This has been great, though. I'm so glad we did this. And it's one of these, once we put on the list, I was just looking forward to this one. And
right?
Just this is in that list of movies that I would just happily watch anytime anybody wants to watch. You'd be like, yep, I'm down.
It's also one of those things where it feels like you could just come into it at any time, and it's just like, yes, this is fun. Let's just sit and watch, even if it's at the very end.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking.
So what do we have? Keep going.
No, I was gonna say. So I heard this description, I believe, on a Caravan of Garbage about Master and Commander. That's the kind of movie that you walk in, and if it's playing, you just stand there, and you literally stand for the entire rest of the film just watching it.
Are you saying that this is a dad movie?
Well, I was saying, like, this is almost in that same where, like, if it was on, you're like, oh, now I just have to say, I have to finish it. I have to sit, because it's worth seeing every time. I wouldn't go as far as saying it's a dad movie, but it's in that group of films that you're just like, anytime it's on, you're just like, okay, this is what we're doing now. I've changed my mind. Whatever was going on is no longer. So, yeah. What were we gonna say, Zach?
I was just going to say that next week we are diving back into the fantasy genre.
Yep.
Same relative time period, and
other than
not exactly the same quality.
No, and it's funny because the movie we have coming up is one that I honestly do love, but objectively it's not nearly as good.
No, it's really great.
It's and I have not watched it in years, and it's one that you were talking about nostalgia glasses being busted. I'm worried about next week. I don't even want to say what it is. I just want to tease it. I just want to tease it because I have a feeling I'm going to watch this for the first time in 10 plus years and be like, oh, this isn't very good. And just love it.
I know. Oh, that's true. That'll happen.
Because then after that, though. I was going to say,
what do you guys...
I was going to say, though, just do want to tease this, though, because we have the 20th anniversary coming up, and we will be doing the prequel trilogy that Pat will be joining us for, and looking forward to that. That'll be coming very soon.
The prequel trilogy of what, Brian?
There's the only one franchise that you get to say that, and you just know what it is. But it's Star Wars.
There are two prequel trilogy major franchises.
Nobody cares about the Hobbit.
I'd like to describe it as space fantasy. That's what we're watching.
Yes,
it truly is the space opera.
If you're referring to the Hobbit, there we go. They're not even in the same. One of them actually has fans, and the other one doesn't.
Oh,
there is a version of The Hobbit that is really good. Topher Grace cut it together and put it onto a number of torrent sites.
Really,
that guy is the king of the nerds. Him and Henry Cavill, I swear. Between the two of them,
fantastic adaptation of The Hobbit within those three movies that can be edited into about 1/4.
I actually
that's a conversation for another time.
I totally believe that, but that'll be some other year. It's not going to be this year.
The casting is perfect for those films.
Oh yeah, well again, Peter Jackson is not a bad filmmaker. I mean, obviously, it's just there's so
much he hasn't made another real movie since.
Yeah, but all right, guys, that's all I've got. Anybody else have any final thoughts?
Oh, I can just ramble.
I don't. That's okay.
Well, on that, have a good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
See you guys.
There's doors and corners, kid. If you don't clear the room, if you don't come in slow,